Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Still no return to practice for Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. The 37-year-old dealing with a back injury did not participate today. He has yet to practice at training camp this summer, and that is unnerving for ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
We know that Matthew Stafford, 37-year-old, is the ultimate warrior. He will play through anything, but we are talking about a guy who is not taking a single snap in training camp. Let me repeat that again. He hasn't taken a single snap in training camp because of this back issue. I know everyone with the Rams is saying, calm down. We still have time until week 1, but to not have taken a single snap in training camp is very alarming.
Packers quarterback Jordan Love will undergo a procedure to repair a ligament to his left thumb, but is expected to be ready for week 1. After screenshots of past references to sports gambling on his Venmo account surfaced online yesterday, Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer denied ever being involved with gambling, said it was instead inside jokes with his friends. The school is planning an investigation. Baseball, Astros closer Josh Hader put on the IL with a strained left shoulder, and he is undergoing further testing.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote renter's insurance at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscano.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscano.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt. Hey, Jordan. We got like multiple drops over there. You don't use the same one every time. Use a different one. I'm Matt.
This is
There it is. There it is. There it is. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Michael Jordan Kitchens.
Jordan, 20-footer, head of the key. Good.
Is your real name Michael?
My middle name is actually Michael, yes.
There it is. We're just going to reverse that for this show. Michael Jordan Kitchens and Mr. Toby Tomplay. Did your parents name you after Michael Jordan?
Yeah, well, my dad's name is Michael, so it kind of just Michael Jordan fan, so it kind of worked out.
Is your dad's middle name Jordan?
No, his middle name is Anthony. So he's Michael Anthony. I'm Jordan Michael.
My dad's middle name is Anthony.
Oh, okay.
My brother's middle name is Anthony. Jody Anthony, Brian Anthony. Same last name, Moscano.
Yeah,
as you might guess.
For the Kitchens.
Got it. Yeah. So Michael Jordan Kitchens.
Yes, sir.
Why wouldn't they just call you Michael Jordan Kitchens?
Well, because then I'll kind of be Michael Jr. a little bit. Well, not really, because my dad's name is Michael Anthony, but then Michael Jordan Kitchens.
Well, that's like Jim Mora.
Really? How's his name go?
Well, there's like Jim Mora and there's Jim E. Mora.
Oh.
They got different middle names.
See, I didn't even know that.
So the younger one isn't actually Junior.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
Hashtag fact.
I'm just happy I'm not a junior, though, because some dude came by and called me junior because he thought it was my dad. And I was like, I don't like how that made me feel.
Calling you junior?
Yeah. He's like, what's going on, junior?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. There's worse things to be called.
True. Let me call worse.
Check my Twitter mentions. I've been called way worse. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. I was thinking about this when Blake Baker was meeting with reporters on Monday. And he was talking about the pieces that were brought in this year and how it kind of all fits with the culture and what Brian Kelly's building and everything. And I started thinking about the context of LSU and LSU defensively and how much we have altered how we perceive LSU's defense. I'm going to run through some numbers in a second. And I know numbers don't always play well on radio or if you can't see them, but I promise you, this isn't a thing where, like, you got to memorize the numbers. Like, I'm going to run through numbers. It's just going to make sense as I do it, whether you remember the numbers or not. Because we have completely transposed how we view defense. And I think this year under Blake Baker is the year where it may be the reset button. I'll explain what I mean, but Blake Baker was asked about how all the new pieces they've added this year are meshing together on this defense. Listen.
You know, part of the job of being a defensive coordinator is obviously fitting the scheme to your players. And every coordinator has specific things that they want to have the luxury to do, right? I think when you look across the board, I think it's twofold. I think from an overall athleticism standpoint, we've upgraded, and then also from a experience standpoint. We brought in, you know, like we've talked about 1,000 times, guys have played a lot of football. And I'll kind of leave it at that to get into too many specifics, but I think those are the two biggest generalizations.
It is undeniable. Undeniable. If you have two eyes, you go out and watch this team on the practice field, you go, that's how it's supposed to look. They just look better. Like, you can tell. DJ Pickett, 6'5". He looks awesome. Montour Delane locking down Barry and Brown or Chris Hilton in the back corner of the end zone, that looks awesome. You look at Patrick Payton, who looks like a praying mantis coming off the edge. That's how it's supposed to look. When nobody can block Bernard Gooden, when Harold Perkins is making plays at all three levels, when Whit Weeks is a potential Butkus award, like you go, okay, yes. That A.J. Halsey making tackles from his safety spot, like that's how it's supposed to look. I'm not telling you they got 6 first-rounders on this defense. I'm just telling you it's a dramatic difference than a year ago when Jacoby and Guillory, who was a rotational guy his whole career, was counted on to be like your dude in the middle. And then he got hurt and you had nothing. It's different. But here's what I was alluding to about how we've changed our mentality over the last 5 years. Last year, LSU ranked 59th in the country in total defense. 59th. You don't need to memorize this. Just I'm going to give you some stuff for context. 59th, which was a dramatic improvement from 2023, which was the worst defense in the history of LSU by yards and points. They ranked 82nd in the country. Now, the COVID year, they were 99th. 99th in the country. But by yards and points, last year was worse. So you go from 82nd to 59th, and you're thinking, that was a pretty dramatic improvement. Can you get top 30? Fingers crossed, hold your breath. They get top 30 this year. Should be really good complementary football to a very good offense. Let me give you some context. If I asked you, what were the years that were the worst defensive years for LSU? Start with Nick Saban in 2000, go through present day. Before 2023 and the COVID year. Most people are going to go 2008. And you'd be right. 2008 was the Malvito experience. Doug Mallory, Bradley Del Pivito, co-defensive coordinators after Bo Pelini went to Nebraska, promoted from within, and it was a disaster. 2008, LSU finished 56th in the country. Remember, that was such a disaster that they fired those two guys after 1 year and brought in John Chavis. They were 56th in the country. Last year, LSU was 59th, and that was a dramatic improvement from where they were. 08 and the other one, people will say, most likely, is 2013. Remember, they had the great offense. Mettenberger was a 3,000-yard passer. Jarvis and Odell, 1,000-yard receivers. Jeremy Hill, 1,000-yard rusher. Remember, that was the first time in the history of the SEC, one school on the same team had a 3,000-yard passer, 2,000-yard receivers, and a 1,000-yard rusher. But what we remember is, man, they went to Georgia and couldn't cover anybody. And, boy, that defense really struggled that year under John Chavis. And they were young on the defensive line after losing all those great players from 2012. Do you know where that 2013 defense ranked nationally? That awful defense? That defense that couldn't complement that phenomenal offense? That defense in 2013? They were 21st in the country in total defense. That awful year. But we all remember, quote-unquote, awful year, 21st in the country. You want to know why that felt awful? Start with Nick Saban. These were the total defense ranks. In 2000, they were 33rd. 01, they were 38th. 02, they were 15th. 03, they win the national championship. They were first. So they went from 33, 38, 15, 1. 14, 3, 4, 17, 56 and 08. They fire the guys. Bring in Chavis. 11, 11, 2, 12, and then 21st in 2013. 21st felt like this awful outlier because you're finishing in the top 10 every year. And then in 14, they finished 4th. 2015, the Fournette year, where he went bonkers, and then they went on the losing streak at the end, they finished 41st. Then in 2016, they finished 5th when they brought in Dave Aranda. 5th, 14th, 26th, 33rd in 2019 when they won the Natty, and then it all went to hell. 99th, 70th, 34th, 82nd, 59th. We have forgotten the context of what it was like to be a dominant defense every year to where 21st felt like an awful year. Because as we remember 2013, we remember that as an awful year. They were 21st in the country in total defense. If LSU was 21st in the country in total defense in 2023, they got another damn banner and a golden ice cream cone in the football ops building with that offense. Blake Baker finds a way to get back to that standard this year with the veteran players who have all played a ton of football, who are all here for 2 reasons: to make money and win a championship. That's it. They could have gone lots of places to make money. All these guys, these veterans who showed up this year, they're bought into the culture. They're getting paid, but they also came to make money. They came to make money, but came to win a championship. They can do it on this team. I think this is a year they reset what a realistic defensive expectation should look like at a place like LSU. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Locations, 9 locations in all: Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lake Charles, Shreveport. Of course, online at lmfj.com. The finest diamonds, natural diamonds, from the finest diamond mines in the world. Scott goes on diamond buying trips every year, goes to India, and brings back a great selection. With Lee Michaels, you get the great selection and the personalized customer service. It's not impersonal like a box store, and it's not a small selection and overpriced like at boutique jewelers. At Lee Michaels, you get the best of both worlds. It's like Goldilocks. It's just right. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. All right, y'all, Tim Brando is going to join us next. Timmy B has Boise State ranked ahead of Alabama. I can't wait for this conversation. That's next, AFR.
AFR.
Y'all check out our friends at Glow Resources. You know where to get them. Online at glowresources.com. GLO, glowresources.com. At Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. As I always like to say, GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Listen, there may be a lot of reasons why you're struggling to find the right people. Maybe your employees aren't showing up, and maybe there's reasons why. Maybe they've got a tough car situation. Maybe they're expecting a child. Maybe they have an upcoming court date. I don't know. There could be a lot of reasons why if you're having those issues. Glow Resources is so exceptional at identifying those potential roadblocks through the interview process, so you're having people and those objections are all answered beforehand. Just one of the reasons why they're exceptional at what they do. Finding the right people for your business to make you more efficient. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online at GLO, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
I love talking to Tim Brando because it is so refreshing to have a conversation with someone who avoids the media echo chamber and is not afraid to think outside the box. And my goodness, did he do that with his preseason top 15. Timmy B, how are you, man?
I'm wonderful, Matt. Great to be with you again, pal.
It's always our pleasure. All right, I'm not burying any kind of lead. You got Alabama preseason number 14. You got them behind Boise State, who's at number 13 in your preseason top 15. Okay, tell me why Alabama going to stink this year, and I'm going to get to celebrate and do a bunch of Bama is burning rants and rub it in their face.
Well, you left out that I've got Tulane at 11.
I'm getting there. I'm getting to LSU at 4. I'm getting at 4. I'm getting to Clemson at 2. I'm getting to all. I'm starting with Alabama, Timmy B. Inject it into my veins.
My job is to call a game and do it as best I can. My fun is to piss off as many fans as I possibly can at the blue blood programs that believe that they invented the game and therefore everything revolves around them. And there's no other, there is no school that represents that any greater than Alabama. So it has not, you hate Alabama. No, I don't. My God, I've had some of my best speeches were given at the Gadsden Quarterback Club, the Muscle Shoals Quarterback Club, the Birmingham Touchdown Club and Quarterback Club. Shall I go on? Every town with more than 5,000 people in its population base has a club that meets, and you know what, Matt? They pay. They pay. and I'll go and visit them from time to time. You pay, I'm there.
Man.
So the reality is the game has changed. Schedules being what they are, the expansion of the playoff being what it is, gives Alabama a great opportunity to get in almost every year with multiple losses. But they've got to be the right multiple losses. Look, Ohio State won the national championship with multiple losses, and that won't be the first. Listen, we are probably within 5 years of the expansion of the playoff, first to 12 teams, then to 16. I bet you we see within the next 5 years 2 teams with 3 losses win national championships. I'm just going to tell you that right now. That's going to happen. You have to have teams that are built for the long haul, which means you got to have culture. You have to have stability, which means fewer coaching changes. You're going to see more guys staying for a longer period of time, solely because where else are you going to go? You're making millions no matter where you're coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So it's not like it used to be. Like Lane Kiffin never has to leave Ole Miss. Never. A few years ago, you would have never said that. David Cutcliffe knew he had to probably go someplace else if he was going to win a national title. Wasn't going to happen at Ole Miss with Eli Manning. But now that's not true. So it's true everywhere. So the bottom line is I look at my preseason top 15 and say this isn't a grid. This is not a starting grid like the AP poll or the coaches poll or these magazines, the Athlon and all that. Let's see where we sell the most magazines. Alabama, they're number 1.
No
number
doubt.
2, Texas. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, Ohio State. That's what they do. They do it traditionally. Why? Because that's where you sell the most magazines. And now it's websites. And so we've moved from magazines to websites and clicks and all of that. Mine is about where I believe they're going to finish. Where you start, especially with 12 teams in and soon 16, has absolutely nothing to do with the reality of how you finish. And so how you evolve, how you adapt to what happens to your season across the different pitfalls that are going to be in front of you. The kind that, oh, by the way, LSU fans should be able to identify with after the way things started last year, then that's going to have a lot to do with where you wind up and how many chances you get to be in a position to play for a national championship, how you respond to all of that. And Tulane, with Coach Sumrall, who did a hell of a job everywhere he was before he got there, he takes over after a guy that, Willie Fritz did an unbelievable job there. They bring in Sumrall, who had done well at Arkansas State. What does he do? He just builds on it. And he brings in Jed Retzlaff, who is a transformational talent at the quarterback position. Were he still at BYU, I would pick BYU to win the Big 12. That's how much I think of that kid. That's how good he is. And mark it down, circle it right now, LSU fans. Tulane is going to go into Oxford at Vaught Hemingway and beat them on September the 20th. Just mark it down.
Okay.
Tulane's going to win that game. They should have beaten Ole Miss last year. Their QB got hurt, if you recall. A little bit like Sonoris when you think about it in the LSU game. I mean, are we sure that they win that South Carolina game if that kid hadn't hurt his ankle? I'm not sure.
No, I think South Carolina would win that game. They couldn't tackle him.
Probably, yeah. And so, he went 79 yards, for a touchdown right before he got hurt. So there are a lot of ifs and buts and couldas and wouldas and shouldas in college football. But the one thing I'm sure of is that Alabama is in flux right now. They did get Ryan Grubb. which is really going to help Kalen DeBoer. I worked with those guys when they were in the Pac-12 at Washington. Two better coaches you won't find in terms of working together. But at the same time, Ty Simpson's new to this position. And at the same time, the schedule is a little bit harder. It is a little bit harder for Alabama, and their fan base is, as usual, looking over that. And there are quarterbacks, as good as Ty Simpson's resume looks, there are quarterbacks in the SEC that are better. Sellers is better. Nussmeier is better. I'm not sure that the guy at Oklahoma,
Mateer,
John Mateer, the transfer, who I had at Washington State 2 years running, he's Tebow without a left arm. He's using his right, and he's got size, strength, and leadership skills that are off the charts. And oh, by the way, Ben Arbuckle, his offensive coordinator, has followed him from Wazoo over to Oklahoma. So Brent Venables is going to get really, really good, really fast. And that's a team that could beat Texas in the Red River Shootout. I don't see any team in college football going undefeated this year. Not one.
I agree.
And I think multiple loss teams, 2 loss teams minimum, could win the Big Ten and the SEC. And, oh, by the way, don't sleep on what Kenny Dillingham is doing at Arizona State, or what those boys in Lubbock are doing with those billions of dollars that's really pissing off everybody in the blue-blooded area, that Texas Tech dares to spend the money Ohio State does, and Georgia does, and Bama does, and LSU does. But don't sleep on the boys from Lubbock now. Okay, they're good, and they're going to put it all. They're going to have a defense for the first time in their lives. I mean, it's going to be a really fun year, Matt. It really is.
Tim Brando is our guest. I'm glad you brought up John Mateer, because I know you called his games at Washington State, and just very candidly, Tim, that's a guy that you just don't see a lot up at Washington State. They don't play a lot of high-profile games, especially last year when they didn't have a conference. So there's a lot of people high on Oklahoma this year because of Mateer and Arbuckle. I look at that schedule, Tim, and I go, how in the world do they find 7 wins on that thing? So I'll ask you, how in the world does Oklahoma find 7 wins on that thing?
Well, Venables is better defensively this year, and he's already been a hell of a coach. I think he's been worried about his offense, and that was problematic. But if you saw, they started to click at the end of last year. I think go back and look at that Alabama game a year ago, the one that crushed Alabama and all its chances
it was awesome
to make the playoff.
I loved it so much.
It was very costly to roll Tide roll. I mean, it was very costly. And I think they feed off that. I think that jettisons the Oklahoma feeling going into the season. And now with a guy running the offense like Arbuckle, and this guy is humble, he's young, he's about 5 years removed from selling phone books to be on a staff at a small school, And so everything he gets, he's excited about, genuinely excited about. Mateer loves him, and Mateer is a kid that was probably overlooked, and believes that, at Wazoo, when I beat Texas Tech, and that was like week 2 or week 3, I had that game earlier this last year, early part of the season. It was a late night game on Fox. And Texas Tech was good, and they blew him out, and he was the reason for it. So I felt automatically that this team is really dangerous. And, they gave Boise State all they wanted on the road and lost a very good game. It was like 28-28 late in the third quarter. Genty made a couple of great runs, and that sort of ended it. But, Washington State doesn't have the kind of personnel that you have in the SEC, but they have individual players that can play at that level. That's the thing that's always bothered me when I hear the condescending comments from a lot of SEC fans. Oh, they put them in this league, they couldn't win more than 6 games. The hell they couldn't. The hell they couldn't. Certain players, listen, a player is great regardless of what the jersey name on the front is, okay? And I've seen examples of that throughout the years, whether I was covering the Pac-12, the Big 12, Big Ten, ACC, you name it. I've seen them all. And I just think the level of greatness that the so-called SEC and Big Ten have over the Big 12 and ACC is overhyped, through the moon overhyped by many scribes in the media. The people that write about it, you know what they're writing about, Matt? They're writing about the amount of television money coming into the SEC and the Big Ten versus the Big 12 and the ACC. Okay, guess what? When the game starts, nobody cares how much more money they're making, okay? It's about who you got, who's matching up with whom. And certain teams in those leagues know how to match up. Just ask Texas last year when Scatterboo almost went right past Texas. They were one play away. One play away. And, by the way, Sam Levitt's another one of those kids at the quarterback position returning at Arizona State's going to be really good. Going to be really good. And you guys get a taste of down there with New Orleans with Tyler Shuck. When you get to see him play the position, I think he's going to be outstanding over time. Maybe not initially, but he will be. That kid was at Texas Tech and is a physical specimen. He's built like Taysom Hill, but he throws it like Drew Brees. There are kids at other schools.
Oh, Timmy, don't tease us with that.
That are
don't,
not blue
don't
bloods.
Tease us with
that
that.
are not blue bloods that are really, really good.
Don't tease us with that. Built like Taysom Hill, throws like Drew Brees. I'm about to watch the Saints go 4-13. Don't tease me with that,
probably
Tim.
Bet.
That
no,
was.
I'm going to say I think they can go maybe 6-10. I can improve on 5-12. So maybe kind of 6-11.
I got them at 5-12, Tim. I got the Saints at 5-12.
Okay, well, that's not bad. Kellen Moore's going to do a good job, but they are against it. The Cats screwed them. You know that.
Yeah,
they'll be all right.
Old Gumsmack and Mick screwed him with the game. Let's not go. Let's talk about positive things. Like on August the 23rd, Timmy B is going to be on Fox calling Fresno at Kansas in the new stadium there in Lawrence, kicking off the season on week 0. And I couldn't be more fired. And then, by the way, didn't we find out Fresno? Kurt Warner's kid's going to be the starting quarterback this year, right?
Yeah, right. So I'm guessing he's going to make the trip. And by the way, Lance Leipold's got a good team. Who kept Deion Sanders out of the Big 12 title game last year?
Kansas.
They lost a ton of close games early. Jalen Daniels got hurt again. He's returning for, I think, his 47th semester
been around.
at Kansas. He's been around. But he's good. He's good. And the backup, Devin Gardner tells me, because he's worked in a lot of these 7-on-7s in the offseason, number 98, my new partner, he tells me that the backup has an even better future than Jalen does. So Kansas is a contender. Who in the Big 12 isn't? And I'll tell you right now, the other game played on the 23rd, Farmageddon, the Iowa State-Kansas State game in Dublin, the winner of that game, the winner of that game, Matt, is going to be a title contender. Okay? If Iowa State wins, and I think they will, Rocco Becht is a veteran quarterback. They returned 2 great running backs, a couple of wide receivers. I think Iowa State's going to win the game because he protects the ball better than the sophomore Avery Johnson does. But if I'm wrong and Kansas State wins, then they'll contend in the Big 12 again, as many people thought they would a season ago. It's just that's the most competitive league in America. I mean, it is. Top to bottom, it's a better league than the ACC. They don't have a Clemson. They don't have a team that good. But the rest of that league, you just don't know who's going to win it. I mean, BYU I think would have won it had they held on to Retzlaff, but they didn't.
Timmy B, before you go, I know this because you shared it with me earlier. So College Game Day is going to be airing a documentary on Lee Corso that you're participating in. Can you, what if anything can you share with us?
Well, it was an honor for them to come over and do the interview with me. I don't know how much of my interview they'll use, but I did his audition tape. He was a part of the original team, and is the last connection that I have with the show. And it brought back a lot of memories. And after I got through with my hour or two with them, the producer that was at Lee's house, that was conducting the interview with him, FaceTimed me, and I got to speak with Coach. and he right away picked up on the fact that I was at home, and I put on my tank top to play my mowing of the lawn game, wearing my Pat McAfee outfit. He said, he says to me, he says, "Sweetheart," Lee always said that, "Sweetheart, Timmy B, error-free and looking like McAfee."
Still got a fastball from time to time?
He's 90 years old, and he's still got the one-liners. He's still able to come with them. It brought back a ton of great memories for me and how things started for me. That was 38 years ago when we cranked up College Game Day in September of 1987. It was Dino, Corso, and Brando, and Terry Ross was our reporter, and we had a hell of a good time. Brought back a lot of memories. And to be honest with you, I was thrilled that they even remembered that I hosted the damn thing, because most of the retrospectives I've seen that have been done by ESPN Films would have you believe that Game Day didn't exist until he was at Columbus and put on the Buckeye head for the first time in '96. We did a lot of game days before that, so it was nice of them to remember.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it. Looking forward to hearing your call on the 23rd there from Lawrence. Season 41 nationally for Timmy B. It's right around the bend. We'll look forward to bothering you again plenty throughout the course of the season.
I'm always here for you. And when I'm not behind the mic calling the game, I'm here in my rocking chair trying to get my handicap down to 7. Playing for the up tees. I don't mind telling you, those up tees are good to me.
I don't blame you. Take every advantage you can get. Take them when you can get them. Keep rocking that tank top. Thank you, Timmy B. You're the best. We appreciate you, man.
You bet, Matt. Anytime.
All right, we'll visit soon. That is Tim Brando. You'll get him at Tim Brando, of course. Now, my guy's got Alabama 14. Gotta inject that into my veins. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Of course, Action Industries been around since 1982, a name that you know. Of course, if you're in the industrial contractor space, you all know, listen, you don't get hired to do work inside the fence if you don't have an exemplary safety record. Action Industries, their safety record beats the industry standard. Not more important, but equally as important is when you get hired, you have to do great work because all of these contractors rely on repeat business. And they've been around since 1982. They know who they are. Their sweet spot is your 100-person job. There's $200 million jobs. That's not them. They know that's not them. They can help you supplement your workforce for those jobs. But that 100-person job, that's their sweet spot at Action Industries. Check them out online, actionindinc.com, Action Industries Incorporated. Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Thanks again to Tim Brando. Always appreciate Timmy B for his time on AFR. And I know there's this discrepancy here that people are going to have with what he put out. But again, Tim's preseason top 25, he doesn't do a top 25 in the traditional sense. He does a top 15, and it's a projection of how things are going to finish. So he's got Ohio State 1, Clemson 2. He's got Notre Dame 3, LSU 4. Then Texas, Penn State, Georgia, Iowa State 8, Oregon 9, Illinois 10, Tulane 11. Remember, you're going to have a G5 that makes the playoff and finishes somewhere around there. So he's got Tulane 11, then Oklahoma, Boise, Alabama at 14, then Arizona State at 15. That's how Timmy's projecting it's going to finish this year. And it's not wrong. I keep going back to this, and I know the narrative out there about the Southeastern Conference, particularly the quarterbacks this year. But I can't get off my mark when I look at DJ Lagway. And you can tell me he was a 5-star, but he's been injured, and he completed about 50% of his passes last year. I get it was a freshman, and maybe he takes a giant step this year. Maybe he doesn't. Same thing with Lenora Sellers. Lenora Sellers was outstanding athletically, but there were times like the reason South Carolina didn't beat Alabama is because Lenora Sellers had a wide open receiver in the end zone and threw the ball in the road J. Like, dude couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat for half the season last year. Maybe he's better. Maybe he's not. I don't know. We talked earlier about Marcel Reed at Texas A&M. Fantastic runner. Can he be accurate enough of a passer to get A&M to the next level? You can tell me, listen, this is where I'll disagree with Tim Brando. He's talking about John Mateer. I don't give a rip what stats you're putting up at Washington State playing the WAC. Now, he's right. In that one-game scenario where Arizona State played Texas, Arizona State scared the hell out of Texas. But if you had to do that over a 12-game schedule and 8 of them against the SEC, it is a different grind. It is. Like, it ain't a mistake that every year the SEC pumps more talent into the NFL than any other league. Why? Because there's more talent in the SEC. In the grind, in the war of attrition over a conference schedule, it does wear you down. That's just an undeniable truth. So, I don't know what that's going to look like over the course of the season with John Mateer coming in. I mean, John Mateer was at SEC Media Days and said point blank, yeah, like on all my other teams, I was always best athlete. I come here and it just looks a little different. Yeah, it does. You're not playing Idaho. It's different. So, I don't know, man. Like, I always make predictions based on who has the fewest questions against the most manageable schedule. I tell you that every year. It's one of the reasons why last year, my SEC, one of my preseason predictions last year was that Georgia and Texas would play 3 times. Regular season, SEC championship, then again in the playoff. Now, they didn't cooperate in the playoff, and as we're all learning, you just can't predict that because you don't know what the draw is going to be and how things may play out. But they did meet in the SEC championship game. And when I look at this year, you could be high on Texas. Who knows what Arch Manning's going to be? He's been around Texas now for 2 years. He started 1 game against an SEC opponent, and it was Mississippi State last year when State did not win a league game. Is he going to be awesome as a first-year starter? I don't know. Look, Garrett Nussmeier threw for 4,000 yards. LSU went 8-4. Nuss had costly turnovers that cost you the game against Texas A&M. Nearly cost you against South Carolina. I mean, there is something to be said for going through that battle of attrition, those wars. That's one of the reasons I don't like Alabama this year. First of all, I think Kalen DeBose grabs the throat all the time against stinky teams. He's done it since he's done it everywhere he's been. He might pop a nice win like last year against Georgia after they blew a 3-touchdown lead. And then Ryan Williams did a freakishly athletic thing. But then they turn around and lose to Vanderbilt. What's Ty Simpson going to be as a first-year starter? I don't know. Brother, you could have talent all over the field. If you don't have good quarterback play, you ain't competing for anything. We lived that in the Les Miles era for a decade here. You can have talent all over the field and go 9-3. You ain't winning a championship unless you have good quarterback play. I mean, we had Billy Lucci on last hour. I think what you're about to watch from A&M is a Les Miles era team. They're going to have an awesome offensive line, 3 dynamic running backs, a quarterback that can run, and a good defense. And I don't think they're going to throw it a lick. And they're going to play a brutal schedule, and they're going to play a lot of close games, and they're going to lose some close games. I watched Jamarcus Russell with Dwayne Bowe, Buster Davis, Early Doucette, Keelan Williams, Jacob Hester. I watched that team go to Auburn and lose a game 7-3. I think that's A&M this year. But the point is, the point being, all these teams, you may think they're going to be really good at quarterback, and there may be potential and upside, and some may hit, but a lot of them are going to bust as well. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Y'all, they got 44 branches in all. Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. been around since 1916, man. 2 world wars, the Great Depression, hurricanes, droughts, financial collapses. They've been through it all. And for more than 100 years, First South Farm Credit has helped Louisianians buy land. And because they're a member-owned, they don't sell your loan. And they'll offer a note modification, which is basically refi. When rates come down, they will call you when rates drop. Don't believe them? Try it. I'll tell you some pretty incredible stories. It's First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. You want to buy land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. All right, y'all. Been a really good show. Thanks for being there with us. Jimmy will be here next for Otter Locks. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. Golf.breck.org. We gave you an LSU practice report. We had Shea Dixon in hour one. Our one-on-one with Trey Green last hour. Billy Lucci was here previewing the Aggies. You just heard Tim Brando. Chock full. The disappointing news, Will Clapp, former LSU Tiger, he's headed to IR for the New Orleans Saints. Meanwhile, Trevor Penning, injury not as serious. That's the great news. Looks like Penning should be available when the Saints open the season on August the 7th. We'll continue to follow it. September the 7th, excuse me. We'll continue to follow it. Otter's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do when I leave here. Going home. Throw some dinner in the microwave. I'll eat factor meals. I'll throw my factor meal in the microwave. I'll put on a swimsuit. I'm going to go swan dive in the pool. I hadn't showered since being out at LSU football practice earlier today. I'm sure I smell like a shoe. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to swan dive into my pool. Few things better when the weather's like this than going and relaxing in your own custom pool. Duplessis Builders can make that a reality for you. DuplessisBuilders.net is the website. DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net. Start there. I can tell you forever about how great it is to work with Derek, his team. I can tell you about Derek Duplessis, his engineering background, all the things I've told you for years now. How about you let Pool & Spa Magazine do it? They just rated Duplessis a top 50 pool builder in America, not in the U.S., not bad, in America. It's DuplessisBuilders.net.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. As always, we appreciate our friends at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. You want a Deere? Tractors, combines, gators, zero-turn mowers, bunky and below. You're going to one place. You're going to Sunshine, proud partner of LSU Athletics. All right, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Doing good, Matthew. How about you?
Doing really well, man. Great day today, and so much going on. I love this time of year as we're steamrolling toward football, man. We got some football tonight.
There's no doubt. I mean, Odell retiring.
No, you can't. No. Nobody knows what you're talking. No, so you see, now I got to explain it. So, well, I got to. I'm got to let the audience. I'm not gonna have an inside joke from the audience. So anyway, earlier on sports today, on Live at Lunch, Jimmy and Otter, they got duped by the fake Schefter account that reported Odell was retiring, which he's not. It was a fake Schefter account. So I'm texting them live, and they're like, "Guys, it's a fake account. It's a fake account." Well, they all got duped. Even Max, they all got duped.
Yes, there you go. So Charlie took it hard. But anyway.
It's okay. It's okay. We've all got before.
All right.
But you all said beautiful words about Odell.
Oh yes. We'll just put it on loop. We'll run it next time when he really retires. Anyway.
All right. What we got tonight?
All right, Ranger Suarez. Got a six-pack for you tonight. Ranger Suarez tonight on the hill. Look, if the Reds couldn't close the deal last night with Abbott, they had a 1-0 lead late, but they just couldn't expand upon the advice I gave you yesterday. No, if you didn't get on it, with starting pitchers early, don't get on it late. We gave that one up late. We lost that one, but Phillies are on fire. Schwarber is actually pushing for MVP in the NL right now. Phillies minus the on the money line. We gave that out. It started earlier. It's minus 130 right now in game.
Okay.
I would suggest to still get on it at this point. Toronto playing the Cubbies. They actually Jose Barrios and Javier Assad. The Toronto is just tough to beat at home. They had a little spark.
Jimmy, we got one. I don't know if Jordan knows where the button is, but we got 1 minute.
All right, Toronto on the money line. We won Waka, Michael Waka last week with
Waka.
We minus one run today to reduce the juice at home against Washington. Pittsburgh first 5. There's difference in this line right here with Skeens minus 108 at Bet Rivers. It's a little steeper at DraftKings. Boston, Houston over 8.5. 2 shaky pitchers going in a hitting friendly park tonight. So Boston, Houston over 8.5 at DraftKings. And then tonight, Jacob Lopez. Who's Jacob Lopez? We've been riding him. He's a crafty lefty for the A's. 18 scoreless inning streak going into tonight. We're going to ride him again. Only Pickett at home with Brandon Kurtz in that good lineup. So the A's pick him at home against the Devil Rays.
5 seconds. Where are you tomorrow?
We're at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street.
Thank you, Otter. Have a great night.
Luck.
Thanks, Jordan. Paul, y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review,